Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Tanya. How are you doing today, Tanya?
I'm vaxxed, waxed, and ready to podcast today.
Why did you steal my line? You stole my line. That was the first thing.
It was just waiting. It was waiting for me.
Like, it was actually the first line that was said on the show. So thank you, Tammy, for that. I'm going to put that in the title. It's going to be Wax, and Renda Podcast, which is amazing because we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise. But if this is your first time here with us, welcome. Please subscribe so we can just build this tribe of people that love talking ad nauseum about Bachelor Nation. So it's finally here after 2 years. What are your overall thoughts of this premiere?
I'm happy the show's back. I think I'm excited for this cast overall. I was very pleasantly surprised to see a lot of different faces than I think maybe we would have seen if it had gotten cast last year. Obviously, not even just people who were on seasons after that, but some people who have gotten to come back even from Peter's season, that are people I didn't think necessarily would get the chance to be on Paradise, which is cool. We have some older people on Paradise. Yeah, I'm liking the vibe. I'm overall liking the vibe. I'm excited for the show to get a little bit more into like the real stuff, but the intro episode is always really fun. I love when everyone walks down the stairs and you get all the entrances, and it really is like the first day of school, which they said on the show. So I'm here for it.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. We do have some people joining us. We have Sophie here. Thanks, Sophie, for joining. And Tamika. Hi. Tamika, this is Tamika's first time watching Bachelor in Paradise. She's watched this last year of The Bachelor and Bachelorettes. And so, yeah, this is her first experience. And she knows a lot of the cast because it's been mostly cast by the people from the last, from 2020 to 2021. So welcome, Tamika. I cannot wait to hear some of your opinions for sure. Sophie wants to know if you're part of Couch Potato Queens. No, actually, Tanya has never met any of the Couch Potato Queens, I do not believe. What are our thoughts about there going to be a rotating guest host? I'm personally loving it. People are just like worried, like it's not gonna be Chris Harrison, it's not gonna be the same. It is the same for me. I love the whole like seeing people just like waiting who's coming down the stairs. He was a little bit off sometimes, but like everybody needs to get their groove. But I loved David Spade as he kind of was like the Chris Harrison vibe. Like he was that older kind of awkward guy that's like funny, not funny. Like I think he played the role pretty well. And how could we not want to have Little John be narrating Bachelor in Paradise? Like I didn't know I needed that until now, and I think that it's a necessity.
I'm curious to see how the vibe will change with the others coming in, which we know is going to be Lance Bass, Titus Burgess, and then Lil Jon. I think for me, Lance is maybe the most flop option just because I don't really find him to be that exciting of a personality. And I just keep thinking about him like officiating Jackson Brittany's wedding on Vanderpump Rules. And that just kind of brings me to a place of sadness in my life, just really wrapping my mind around that situation. So he's the person I'm least excited for, but the others I'm okay with. And I thought, kind of similar to you, I liked David Spade. I thought very like pretty much nothing going into it in terms of what he was going to bring. I know he's a comedian and I know he has experience doing stuff like this, and I believe he watches the show. But I think what I appreciated most about him once I warmed up to what he was doing is he had that perfect level of trolling them and also still being a fan. Like I felt like he was like giving this banter that was like pretty funny, but also self-aware of the cheesiness of the characters and the show and the situation. So I liked what he brought.
Exactly. Like some of the jokes didn't land, but like I'm happy for the attempt. Like, don't land every joke. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I thought he did a pretty good job. I wish that he actually was the host the whole time, personally, and then maybe have like the Wells position really rotate. Because I don't know if I need to see, like you're saying, Lance Bass at the bottom of the stairs. Like,
yeah.
Do we?
I was listening to another podcast, and I think it was Bachelor Party, and the hosts and her guests were discussing like the idea that like maybe Wells should have kind of been more of the host figure, and then the rotating person would work better as the bartender, which I kind of understand. But I actually enjoyed Wells and David's banter with each other. I thought those moments were like pretty good.
True. Like I'm kind of thinking I am excited to see the rotating host, whatever. Fine. But I wouldn't be upset if it was David and Wells combo for the whole duration. You know what I mean? If they just stuck with that and like instead of like being scared, like, oh, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Or is he too expensive? I don't know what the reason is why they're bringing in multiple rotating hosts, but I wouldn't have minded just being David Spade and Wells. So Tamika can't wait for Titus. Absolutely. He'll be funny. His facial expressions are always amazing. And so I will like to see him trolling these what are they called? Are they Islanders? What are they?
I know. I was like, what is the name of them? Just cast, I guess.
Cast?
The cast of the show. It did feel kind of Love Island-y though. Like it has so much more to compete with now in the landscape of what all these island dating shows are. There's so many more when you think about like F-Boy Island being a thing, Temptation Island, Too Hot to Handle, Love Island, US, UK, international.
Did you hear about the new one that's happening?
No.
There's a new one. It's called
Love Island?
No, it's called Naked and Afraid of Love. And I believe they're on an island.
That's what I mean. Like, there's a lot in the market now. So I did feel a slight tonal difference from previous seasons on this one, but I still feel like the spirit of the show is there. Just like slightly different. And I don't know I can't place what exactly is different other than the obvious like change of personnel. But yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, I think what the change is that there seemed to be a lot more people. And like that's maybe what was a little bit different. They didn't have the date happen maybe sooner because like they waited all the way till the nighttime and all these people coming in. So I think that the flow of the first episode was a little bit different. And I'm assuming this is because that they had so many more people coming on for the first round. Like there was what they said, 13 guys and 10 girls. But then there's still sorry, that's right. Yeah, sorry. 13 girls, 10 guys. And Demi's gonna show up as well. So that's 14. And like there's gotta be another guy then. If it can't be 14, like 4 girls can't go home. That's brutal.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it almost felt like it was so many. I know. Well, we'll get there. It's so many that I feel like typically in the show you have kind of a disadvantage if you come in later in the game because these relationships are developed and we know that it moves quickly and that those first connections seem to be established on night one. But I felt like even the way it was spaced out here, you're at a disadvantage if you came like later in this episode, like Serena C. I was like, okay, she's just here now. Like there's all these people. Yeah, like it feels like you're already kind of at a disadvantage if you came like in the evening. So yeah, it's a lot of people. And I think to me, it feels like there was a little bit of pre-gaming or at least some established ideas of who people might couple up with in certain pairings. But I think that's kind of what's been happening with this show. So we shall see.
Absolutely. So they kind of were a little bit weird with how they introduced people because they had like intros, but then it wasn't them coming onto the island. So I guess we'll just start from when Abigail. So Abigail's the first person that's entering Paradise. She was starstruck by David Spade. Do you think she knew who he was or just knew that he was famous?
I think her and Kenny or like the people who knew who he was for real. She seemed to be like actually like, oh my god, I'm meeting a celebrity right now. And I was glad she got, they always talk about this on Game of Roses, so people that listen to that podcast will know, but it's always a discussion of who's going to get first sand, which is like the first person on the beach. I think it would have been safe to bet that that might be Abigail, but solidifying that I think she's going to have a very nice run on Bachelor in Paradise, as we already saw as the episode developed. So glad to have her back.
Yes, it's nice to see her for sure. I mean, I'm very happy that Matt didn't choose some of these people, that she's off in his own world with Rachel, and they can wear their skinny jeans and be on skateboards and full beards, all they want. Leave Abigail to have like a nice experience on Bachelor in Paradise. So I'm definitely
was it not so like so much of a trigger to see the footage back from Matt's season? Like when they showed Mari's package and it showed the clip of Katie tapping her with the dildo, I was like, ah, no, no, please, like, let me move past this. Like, I don't see this anymore. I was shocked. Like, I forgot about Katie even being on Matt's season because we just went through her season and I didn't need to see either of them again. Like, I was, I was really like, oh my God, no.
I feel really bad, just to talk about Katie's season for a little bit, is that I can't ship that couple. So like even when you see like Blake was doing some like imitation photos of Katie's like cute, like, I don't know, swimsuit kind of photos things, and he was like mocking her. And usually I would be like, oh, they're so down to earth, that's funny. But I'm just like roll my eyes and I'm just like swipe. I'm not even gonna look at this and I'm not liking it. Like it's very interesting that I'm not really down with that relationship. But I feel a little bit bad because, you know, it's not their fault really that I don't like them, but it is.
I mean, we might run into them if they're here.
I mean, that is true. If they're at the CN Tower at the rotating restaurant.
At the 360 restaurant.
Yes. I mean, nobody really goes there. It's really overpriced and the food's not good, but it's a nice view.
And if you haven't been to Toronto, which I'm assuming she hasn't,
that's true.
I guess it's like just one of those things that you do.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. Like I would go and look at like the glass, it's like, what is it called? The glass ceiling, the glass floor.
Yeah, the floor.
Tower, do that. I'd definitely walk around down. Like, so yeah, I would do all those downtown things and maybe see like a ball game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, because she did throw a pitch at one of these ball games and she loves softball, baseball.
Oh Lord.
Hi Natalie, thanks for joining us. Could Tyler C be the next Bachelor now that he's single? I've been hearing this rumor that is the reason why he broke up with that woman, because like to allow him to, you know, gain some traction and become the Bachelor. I'm okay with him being the Bachelor as long as it's not Michael A.
Yeah, well, also we have to see what happens with this show, because I think they're presenting some potentials here, and I'm curious to see how it goes.
And one potential is the next person onto Paradise, which is Grocery Store Joe, who's 35. He is somebody that I've been hearing rumors that he's getting the Bachelor edit. What do you think about that idea?
Okay, so I don't like Grocery Store Joe. Maybe not so much him specifically. I think it's more so he to me is like an emblem of how this fandom elevates somebody so mediocre for no real reason, to the point where this man has already been on Dancing with the Stars after being eliminated night 1 on his season, and then also going back on Paradise and having that whole story with Kendall. I just don't care for him that much. I don't really care for the awkward, like, oh, I'm such a bumbling fool. Like, it's a little bit for me. And I don't really need him to be my lead ever for this show, but I can definitely see them reaching for it. And they definitely spent so much time on him. So it's evident, obviously, from what we see too, that him and Serena must have something going on in Paradise. So I think he's going to be here for the long haul. And I'm not personally very excited about that. I'm not really a Joe person at all.
I'm not really a Joe person, but I like Joe more than you for sure. And I like Joe more than Michael A for sure as the Bachelor. I'd rather see him bumbling around than it be all about like how amazing, what an amazing man Michael A is. He's just so, you know, he knows how to love, and he's such a great father. Like that storyline, I'm not really. Sorry, guys, I'm not really that excited
Like,
about it.
What's Joe even doing? He said he's making pasta and dancing. Like, what is he doing with his life?
I don't know what he's doing with life.
Like, he's not
a Bachelor fame.
Doing that podcast.
So Tamika loves Abigail, but not sure about her and Noah. So I wasn't sure about her and Noah either, because I feel like he's too childish for who I would picture her with, for whatever. I don't know what that means, but like he seems like a teenager, and she seems like an adult, or would like an adult relationship. He doesn't seem like a man to me. You know, he seems really young. So I don't know what do you think about their relationship?
Most of my thoughts about him are contained to their date, so I'll wait till we get there.
We'll hold off on thoughts about him. Grocery Joe does address him as Mr. David Spade. So I wonder if he got prompted to know who he was, or if he actually does know.
Maybe he knew.
Yeah, he's older, so he might have an
idea. He's 35. He might know.
David Spade did throw out a double bag joke about condoms, so I was like, okay, just putting in sliding in that sex joke there, David Spade. No big deal.
Yeah, it was when the jokes didn't land, they really didn't land. But when they did, they were funny.
That's a good joke. I was like, that's witty, that's smart. Grocery Store Joe is excited to see Serena P. Now, I wouldn't think that Serena P would be the person that Grocery Joe would be most excited about seeing. Like, why do you think it was her out of everybody that's potential on this cast?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that pairing at all. But I do completely understand why she's a lot of people's choice, or at least someone that was on a lot of people's radar, because she's stunning. Like, when I saw her walk down, I was like, why wouldn't people be interested in her? And we even liked her on Matt season 2. I would have liked to see even more of her, but she knew when to dip there and made her way off of that show, or broke up with Matt, as she said. But yeah, I didn't particularly like see Joe and Serena as a thing, or I wouldn't have placed them as a couple before.
No, and like I wouldn't be picturing if Joe was watching Matt's season, him to be like, oh, Serena P, like she is the one for me. Like, we know she's stunning, and she knows she's funny and like very likable, but I just wouldn't have pictured out of all the people that to be who Joe was like excited about. But I'm here for it. It's fine. Also excited for Serena P is the next person onto the beach, which is Ivan. Were you happy to see Ivan here?
Yeah, I'm happy to see Ivan. I mean, I was surprised with his intro package where he said that he wants kids, and like that's a big thing. But I like Ivan. I think since his appearance on Tayshia's season, he's kind of come through as a more like, not more, but more outwardly confident and more outwardly like having swagger. So it's interesting for me to like grasp that, because I just like have very specific vibes of him from Tayshia's season, but I'm not against it. I'm just curious. I didn't realize that he was like so this way, if that makes sense.
Really? Because like I found that like Ivan to me didn't come across as somebody that was like goes and gets the girl, you know? It's like he kind of
that's what I mean. I'm surprised that he's bringing this energy.
Well, he's probably just like, I gotta do something. I'm on Paradise.
Yeah.
So Tamika wanted to slap Joe. LOL.
So he's not my favorite.
So Ivy, thanks for joining. I'm trying to decide who was more of a petulant child, Grocery Store Joe or Greg. LOL.
Greg.
So, of course, after Grocery Store Joe comes onto the beach and then Ivan comes onto the beach, both looking for Serena P. Well, of course, the Paradise Gods will give them Serena P. So, we already talked about her before. She's from that season. She was a top 4 finalist, I believe. She realized that Matt wasn't the one for her and didn't want to continue on with the process with him. I was proud of her for doing that because she wasn't going to win, and B, she probably realized that he wasn't that much of a catch. So I was happy that she left when she did, and that she's on Paradise.
Yeah, I mean, a shoe-in for Paradise. I would have been super surprised if she wasn't there. Perfect casting.
So the first super awkward entrance. Can you guess who that was? Probably.
This Kelsey entrance?
Yeah, Kelsey. Like, was he really not opening the champagne? Like, that was like so awkward. Was he intending it to be as that awkward, or do you think that that just came out of not being able to open that bottle? Where is the truth here, Tanya?
I think he actually couldn't open it. I think. I think they had probably mapped out that bit was going to happen, and like an improviser, he went along with it. But I did think he actually had difficulty. I was like, don't you have to like twist it a little bit before you pop? He's probably like rich enough that he's never had to pop his own champagne.
True, probably not. And I did get one time training from Moet, and basically what they say is that you should leave on the cage. So you untwist it, leave the cage on so you can have some leverage, some grip, and you actually twist the bottle, and then you can just and it comes out. But I mean, like, you're not actually supposed to like try to like pop it. We know that Theo almost lost an eye doing stuff like that, so it's actually not great. And also, when you have the cage on, you're holding it down a little bit so that it doesn't do that and fly out.
It doesn't fly away.
It's hot outside and the bottle's cold, the pressure, and pop. So, the fact that like it was just so dangerous. I'm just so scared of them. I'm working on the plane as well. We always have champagne for like our champagne service at the beginning of the flight. And like sometimes the pressure, like those bottles would pop out of nowhere. And you're just like, anyways.
No, for sure. I never pop champagne because I'm like, I don't trust myself and I don't trust this bottle. I'm scared, but I'll drink it.
I love champagne, especially a nice Veuve Clicquot. One of my faves for sure. Veuve Clicquot Rosé is definitely a tasty rosé champagne. So that was really awkward, but eventually they get the bottle open and she enters. And then Brendan. So were you happy to see Brendan from Tayshia's season? Another person that left mid-process.
I mean, I was, because I agreed with everyone's assessment of the element of hotness that he brings to the show. However, I mean, we know that Piper's going to show up. So I don't really believe that he's actually interested in anybody else. For real. Yeah, it feels very premeditated for me. And then like even just the way he was being, but he looked great. Thanks for the extended shower scene of him pondering and showering. So eye candy, we all want. The cast is very attractive. In particular, I really want to shout out the women. Like, immaculate. These girls were looking fantastic. Like, so many of them, I was like, they're all stunning. And these guys are very, very lucky that this is the group that they've ended up with.
Yeah, the fact that, I'm going to say it again, that Karl's giving out a rose here. Like, somebody has to vie for Karl's rose.
I know, like, so sad.
Like, so dark, so sad. Other way around. I'm just like, I know it's the show, and I know that it happens all the time, but I just would have rather the women had the power the first time around. Like, why did the girls have to go and beg these guys for a rose? You know, why couldn't it be the other way around? Especially since there's so many, as you're saying, they're all super beautiful. They're all very accomplished. They're all very, like, they're just great women. I wish that they got to make the decision instead of like these kind of drags that are making the decision here this week.
I know.
So yikes. Pretty annoyed about that. So they're outside and these first grouping of people are talking. Grocery Store Joe doesn't really take a joke very well. You know, I think it was Kelsey naming him Jim Joe because he was
Jim
wearing a
Joe.
t-shirt, and they're naming Brendan as Best Dress. But like, it was just a joke, and he kind of got offended by it. Is this adding to your dislike of Grocery Store Joe's narrative? Yeah.
It's all an act. It's all an act. Like him being like, and I mean, everyone, sorry, I should preface this by saying I think everyone's kind of putting on an act of some sort because they're on a TV show and they're trying to come across a certain way. He knows this brand works for him and that people love this about him and they find it so endearing. So if he does his awkward laugh, talks about how he should have got a haircut, didn't get a haircut, oops, I don't think I packed right. That's like all part of this like endear yourself to me process. So I think it actually works to his advantage because it differentiates him from everybody else. And for some reason, clearly provided intrigue for Serena to even attempt to talk to him several times. So this is a tried, tested, true thing for him. I feel like he's leaned on this his whole life and it's worked. So you do you, Joe. I don't like it.
He's kind of cute. I believe he's an Aries, and so I like Aries energy. So I do kind of like Grocery Store Joe. I see all the things.
He has a nice smile.
Yeah, he's cute sometimes. I'm like, oh, you're not too young for me. I could date you.
I appreciated that he's 35. I appreciated that Kenny's on there and he's 40. I would love to see this extended in the other direction and bring on some women that are also older and not ostracize them like they did with like Annalise or, you know, there's plenty of women in Bachelor Nation at this point that are in their mid 30s to almost being 40 or being 40. And I feel like it's not as commonplace to like Serena's 23. That is so young for some of these people that are there. Why can't you have a woman that's 35 or 37 or 40? Please, like, let's change it up.
One. Well, a few actually, because the two old people don't necessarily like have to get together. Like, give them a little bit of options here would be nice. Cassandra's also joining us. Thanks, Sandra, being here. Hello. I wrote down Natasha next and saying festive, flirty, fun. Did she come in next, or was she one of the people that didn't get a specific entrance?
She came in next. She came in after Brendan.
All right. Well, she said festive, flirty, fun. I wrote that down, 3 Fs, and she's missing 1 F. So yeah, it must have been in like her promo package.
She said I think after she sat down and she was talking to, maybe it was actually Brendan, but maybe I forget who she was talking to, but she was like having her drink. And then she said, be festive, flirty, fun, and another word that starts with F that I'm not going to say right now.
Right. So
I'm a Natasha fan. I really like her.
I thought she looked gorgeous. I thought she came across as fun. I want to see what her journey is all about. Yeah, I was happy that she got cast for this season. Next up is Tammy, and I'm really confused here. Like, I feel like Tammy doesn't know who she is or something, because the person that was on Peter's season, and then all of a sudden she became this villain. Now, like, I just don't know who she is anymore. And do you have a better idea than I do?
I think she just has no filter, and I kind of appreciated that about her. Like, minus the obvious, like thinking that David's name is James Chappelle, which is wild as a statement. Like, I cannot even believe that she mixed these two people up. I kind of enjoyed her being there for some reason. I don't know. She just like seems like she's just not afraid to say whatever. She like burped as soon as she got there. Like, she's just giving us something different, but I would rather see Tammy than Victoria, like at least I'm entertained by Tammy, like she at least is funny to me.
And I'm assuming that you're enjoying her going to be part of the drama with canoodling with Aaron, your guy, Aaron. And it seems like she's going to be attracted to Thomas. And so that's going to be a little love triangle with Tammy in the middle. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind seeing her, but there was just something that I'm like, I don't get what you're really doing. I feel like sometimes she's just like a bit false, but I totally agree with you. I'd rather her there than Victoria, Goddess Victoria, eye roll.
Mm.
He does say hi, Dave. She does say hi, Dave, which was really funny though. And he's like, "Oh, it's Dave now." I'm like, "Dave, you're quick sometimes." Like, that's funny. I was also thinking that because I was like, okay, we're on like a abbreviated name because I was even gonna write down, oh, Dave, like as the host, and I was like, wait, should I say Dave or David? So I appreciate that he caught that people feel like he's their friend, but like we actually don't know him.
I like that she asked him how he was feeling about hosting the show. That made me laugh. I was just like, she's like, how does it feel like being here doing this? I was like, you're a real person. Like in your own way, you just are this way. Like.
So then your guy comes in next. I didn't write down anything for him. Do you have any thoughts about Aaron?
He did not come in next.
Oh, why did I write him next? Who came next?
Jasenia came in next.
Oh, I probably missed
by
her.
Trey.
Oh, Jasenia and Trey. Okay.
I think Jasenia looked absolutely incredible and has like some of the best hair I've ever seen. Like her hair just looks like so gorgeous, thick, shiny, like that like push over to the side. I thought she looked great. Trey came in after her. And then I think Kenny came in after him. And then Aaron came in.
Oh, I probably like put Aaron in because I was watching it and I was like, oh shoot, I should be taking notes. And so I was like, oh, was this the order? And it's probably stuck that in. So Kenny comes in. Naked Kenny. Why do we need to have this bit? We know he's not naked. There's actually some sleuthers that show some images where they forgot to put the black box there. So like we can see that he's wearing shorts. So what is this bit?
I don't know. I'm very confused. Just being like, I'm 40 and fabulous. Like, I'm not really sure what that was. But I can't believe I'm saying this. But I think he seems like actually someone who would be fun to hang out with. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked to say it. But that's how I feel. I don't know. I actually didn't mind him being there, minus the whole like fake naked thing. I actually appreciated his vibe.
No, I agree with you. I didn't mind him. I'm not into his look. He's too like
it's not my type, but
coiffed and tatted. It's too neatly tatted. I don't know. If you're gonna have tattoos, I think you're supposed to be kind of, in my opinion, a little rougher. And so when people are super coiffed with tattoos, I'm always like, who are you trying to be? But I did like him being on the show. I obviously for representation of people that are a little bit older. I like that he is willing to start relationships with people because there's some people that just kind of sit back and they don't get to know people and talk to people. So I appreciate he knows how to do that. And so he's advancing storylines and I'm here for that for sure.
Yeah.
So Natalie is here. Hi, Natalie. Did you see Victoria and Joe on Joe and Natasha's podcast? It was awkward. No, I haven't. Have you?
No.
That's going to have
Victoria. Goddess Victoria?
That's what I'm assuming. Who's the other Victoria? Are we doing
the
Vino?
Other Victoria.
Are we getting loose today? Yes.
I might just. It was a Tuesday night, casual, poor.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. Maybe next week we'll do it together.
Yeah. You never know. We have 2 episodes next week, so we might need it anyways. Yeah.
I know. I wasn't figure out that because I'm on Rob's podcast on Tuesday. So I'm trying to figure out like why are they 2 times a week and why is it Monday, Tuesday? Couldn't it be like Monday, Thursday or Monday, Wednesday? And then we can do it Tuesday, Thursday or Monday, Thursday. Anyways, we have to figure that out. Yeah. But maybe one of those days we'll get a little tipsy together. That's very fun. I don't know if I probably would get off track and like start like blabbing about nonsense, but it would be fun. So Tamika says, I think that he's liked based on the some of his comments on clickbait, her and Brie. Oh, with Serena P. Okay.
Dropping names on podcasts is like the game before the game. You know? It's like where people start to engage in that behavior. And then I'm sure whatever's happening in the DMs for sure.
Cassandra, you think Grocery Store Joe creeps you out? Oh boy.
He's yeah.
He was very creepy. I didn't think he was creepy. Oh my god, do I like creepy? Like I don't mind Grocery Store Joe. I don't mind Thomas. Like, what is my taste?
I don't know that I would say creepy, but yeah, there's something off-putting about him to me, you know?
BB says that Ivan took Karl's motivational course and brought that confidence. Yes, he did, down to the beach.
Not Karl.
Ivan was taller than people expected, right? Is that somebody said that about
Ivan
somebody?
looked tall. Ivan looked tall because he was standing. I think Joe is also tall because when they were both there, I was like, oh, these guys both seem to be like decent height. Feeling like Kenny's probably very tall. We need to look back at that photo where James is on his tippy toes.
My favorite photo of the whole season is that one. Like people sleuthing out that he's on his tippy toes. I can't. Like is the cage the fail or foil? Oh, foil.
On the champagne.
Yeah. So the cage is like, so you take off the foil and then you untwist the cage. Like there's like a wire.
Like wire.
And it's so the cage, the wire part. So you take off the foil first and then untwist it, and then hold the loosened cage on the cork, and then you twist the bottle and while you're holding the cork down. Like lightly though, they allow it to be able to turn, obviously. He's dating Piper, so weird. Well, we saw them out in New York, Brendan and her. I think they look gorgeous together. It makes sense for them to at least date. It seems like he's open to at least mixed race women, with him dating Tayshia and getting pretty far into the process. So I'm here to see them look stunning together for a year or so. Like, I'm down.
Yeah.
Definitely very attractive. Tanya is so skeptical. You don't believe in the purity of Bachelor in Paradise.
None of these things are pure. None of these things are pure.
Thanks for joining us. So this feels like an awkward season of Bachelor in Paradise. Tanya is so right to be skeptical. This feels like a weird consolation prize for Katie's guys. Well, Katie's guys are the consolation prize. I think that like the women are pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know that it feels weird other than just we haven't had it for 2 weeks. What I'm skeptical of is that there hasn't already been a kind of established
relationships.
Or like not even just established. I feel like these girls, like especially the girls that are from that season, who are a lot of the key players, it seems like, in Paradise so far. I feel like there's been a lot of cross-pollination happening before they got there. I wouldn't be surprised if these people had already planted seeds, which is strategy, and it's a way to stay on the show longer, and it's a way to maybe date someone and all of that stuff. But I feel like that's the biggest like evolutionary change to Bachelor in Paradise from the early seasons, where I actually think maybe they were meeting there for real. I know producers always ask them who they want to see there, which I think kind of like starts the conversation. They also probably edit it accordingly to make it dramatic for us watching. But I think that's maybe the biggest difference. But I'm not necessarily even opposed to it. I think it's just a different game when that's an element.
Definitely. I agree with you. I like the purity of the beginning, like seasons where they literally had no idea who's going to be walking down. Like the fact that they're even able to, oh, I would love to see Serena P. And then Serena P walks in. Like before it was a little more organic, and now you know that it was contrived. Yeah. So I don't know if it was contrived by, Serena P and Grocery Store Joe beforehand. Like, oh, I'm going to say you. Will you say me? Like, I don't know if that's the case. But like in some of these scenarios, I do think that the producers like, let's put these people in. So Cassandra says this season feels like the B team, all the losers. Aw, really? You think?
I don't know. There's some people there that are like, I'm glad that they're on the show. Like people that got eliminated, like Marissa, who got eliminated night one, but she's like clearly like a stunning, cool girl. Or like, I don't know who else is in that category from like early eliminations, or like someone like Mari being there. Like, I think these are like good people to have on the show, but there are some flops for sure. Like there's some people that I'm like, oh, there has to be, because people have to leave.
I don't necessarily care about any of these couples that are happening this first day, but I'm enjoying it. This whole episode is better than Katie's entire season. So regardless of whether I like the couples or whether I believe them, it's also so far better than Love Island ended up. So I'm here for it. Matt, Mari and Kenny. Ooh, I don't mind it. I don't.
Another surprising one. I didn't expect
Very
that
surprising.
combo.
I've never watched Clickbait, to be fair.
I've listened to like very briefly, like 1 or 2 episodes.
I was mad because I liked their name though. I was like, it's a good name. It's very good. But don't love him. Aw, poor Grocery Joe. He's just getting raked to the coals.
It's fine. Okay, he's already overachieved for what he's done.
If it wasn't for podcasts that I support, like Reality Realness, I wouldn't have cared about this season. It serves as a bridge between Katie and Michelle. I mean, we needed something after Katie's season that was a little bit lighter, Joseph. But thank you so much for supporting us. We had a lot of people for Love Island that were not watching the show anymore, but still would come and hang out with us when we did our recap. So thank you for being such a loyal reality realness-er. Tasha is one of the oldest. How old is she?
She's 33.
33. That's ancient in Bachelor times.
I know. Kenny was like, that's close to my age. And I was like, sir? No, it's not. Okay? Thank you.
Not at all. Like, it's really young still. Like, you know, 33. I wish that they did bring people up to the age 40, especially if there's somebody 40 there, because like I don't want the storyline to be like, oh my God, you're so much older than me. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And like no matter what, unless either of them was dating Natasha, all the other girls are like 15, 12 years young. Like I'm like, what's there's no middle ground. You're either 25 or 35. Like that doesn't make any sense. Need more age diversity.
Yes, please. Okay, so Cassandra says that Bachelor in Paradise is usually her favorite of all the franchises, but this season feels like people nobody cares about. LOL. Well, I think it's because we didn't care that much about the seasons that they were derived from. I think that we don't think fondly of those seasons, which is allowing us to not think fondly of the cast. They were all done pretty dirty. They really didn't get a good opportunity to shine. In Katie's season, it was all just about the witch hunt of who was there for the wrong reasons. So we didn't really get to know any of these guys. So I think that that's probably one reason why you're like, who is this person? Like, I don't care about them. And say with Matt's season, like we knew that we liked Abigail. We knew that we liked Serena P, and we knew that we liked Mari. So that's probably why we're a little more favorable to the women, because we did get a chance to learn more about them, but we didn't get to learn anything about Katie's guys for the most part. So I think that that's probably part of the reason why some people are not connecting. Me too. Love Natasha. I hope she finds love. I hope so too, but I don't know if she's going to though. Wait, how can I like grocery store Joe, Thomas, and Josh Murray? Which
her chaotic taste. Her taste is chaotic. Thank you for calling this out. Look at this combo.
I wouldn't date grocery store Joe, but I might be intrigued with him on the beach. You know what I mean? I might be interested in entertaining that weird, like, shy guy thing. I might be like, you know what I mean? Just want to rattle him or just, you know what I mean? It might be intriguing. Thomas, I just think and Josh Murray, I think they're both really hot and they have like a masculine energy that I vibe with. Like they're just very, very manly. And I'm down for that. And they're tall. I love tall too.
They both look like they get their eyebrows done. So
I don't like that, Tanya. I usually like people that are very rugged.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I appreciate it.
Patrice, thanks for joining us. Who do we think Thomas picks, Tommy or Tammy or Becca? Well, we know it's Becca. With all the sleuthing that's been going on, I thought that it wasn't really Becca's house because I was like, oh, the leaves didn't look the same, but I didn't see the blanket and then the glassware. Did you see the glassware photo?
No.
So there's like a picture of Thomas opening a bottle of champagne, or it was either wine. Yeah, I think it was champagne, and he had like glassware, like just regular cups on the counter. And then another post of Becca's, it was the same cup, and some people sleuth like they showed the set of these four like individual kind of etchings on the cup, and they're like it's the same set, and then the marble counter is the same. So Thomas is either like has an identical set of glassware and marble top as Becca, as well as like that blanket ladder, same blanket and similar brand. It just seems as though they are canoodling, at least now. So who knows what happens in Paradise?
Wow.
But at least
wow.
Looks like Katie might be kicking herself, because I can see that couple going the distance just because they knew how to play the game a little bit better.
It's so interesting. I would have guessed, surprisingly, that Becca would have been into someone like Kenny because she spoke so favorably about him on her podcast all the time, that I was like, that I could see that happening. The Thomas thing, I did not see happening, but I am sure interested in seeing how that plays out.
Well, she also spoke favorably about Thomas on her podcast as well.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, so talking about the fact that, you know, it's unrealistic for people going on the show not to have a thought about what could happen after. And so she kind of go ahead.
No, finish.
Oh no, so it's like she definitely has like the similar perspective as we do, in the sense it's like obviously you're gonna think about it. He just answered the question like too honestly, basically what she was agreeing with here.
Would she have? I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
I think it's before. If that's what you're gonna ask. You know, it was totally
I was gonna say, is she
no, I think it was after.
Saying that because it was after?
I think it was after. Yeah. I think it was after, time-wise. It was like, oh, interesting that she's like defending her man.
Defending her guy.
That was my first instinct when I saw that clip. But maybe it was beforehand. I don't think it was. So do we know when Bachelor in Paradise filmed? Was it June?
I remember it because I follow Abigail and a couple of the girls on Instagram, and she was gone for a while. But I can't remember exactly when it was. Earlier this summer, though.
I'm just trying to figure out. And so timeline-wise, I definitely think that Thomas villain edit came after they filmed Paradise.
It must have.
And like
it was filmed in 3 weeks in June, so you're right.
So also with the fact that it looks like he did his men tell all from her apartment. Right? It's so juicy. So juicy.
Thomas on the rise.
Okay, so Noah arrives at some point. Like, did I just take like really squirrely notes? And
he came after Aaron.
Where did I write down Aaron? Oh, there's Aaron. Okay, I put it out of order. So he comes in, I guess he pulls Abigail to talk to her. Is that what happened?
Right away. Yes, right away. He also says to David Spade that he's like there for, or he's like really wants to meet Abigail. And that's someone that he really wants to see if he has a connection with.
Which I think is interesting, because he said that he has worked, we know that he's a nurse, and that he's worked with people that are, sorry, I don't know the politically correct word to say.
That are hard of hearing, deaf.
Are we allowed to say deaf? I never know. I don't know. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but so people that are hard of hearing will say, and that he really like loves what she stands for and the community that she represents, and that he's worked within that community before, so he really wants to meet her. So I'm wondering, like, you want to meet her for those reasons, not because like she's actually been pretty awesome. But anyways, I'm here for somebody coming in for Abigail. I like that she's being pursued. I just don't know how much they connect, but I know we're holding off still for your thoughts about Noah. Were you upset that he didn't have his mustache?
No, no, but I thought he looked so different for some reason. I thought his hair was lighter or something. I don't know why that was so jarring for me. Maybe it was the mustache not being there. I don't really know.
Oh, I saw that one already. Oopsie, I just got behind. Okay, so it's supposed to be a nice breath of fresh air, but it feels as like they BS their way through this, like they did Katie's season, because Michelle didn't want to take a leave of absence. Well,
Mhm.
I think that when does I don't even know what the usual schedule is. Is Bachelorette usually airs in January, correct?
No, I think the Bachelor usually airs in January,
And
and
Bachelorette's usually
then
fall.
Bachelorette is usually um in the fall, yeah. Because it
And
would
then
be Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelorette, Batch, typically. But I don't know if this all got thrown into. But I guess they'll be back on schedule because Michelle will air starting in October, and then I'm assuming Bachelor will be probably in the new year. So I think we'll probably be back on the regular rotation, which means we might not get a Bachelorette again after this like double dose for another year after Michelle airs.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, I want them to kind of pay. There's been a lot in the last like what
Yeah.
we did Claire and Tasha and Matt James and Katie and Bachelor in Paradise and like
Yeah.
it's not that good, guys. Like we
Yeah.
don't need it to be that awkward.
Relax.
Just calm down. The fact that we'll end up having 4 in a year, basically, that's too much. I think 3 was already a lot, but 4 too much. It's because he definitely wasn't naked. Yeah, he wasn't naked at all. You were fooled, BB. And you thought he was, and you thought it was gross. There's no way that he would like people would be so comfortable around him. Like it would just people would always be looking at his package. Like they would be just like, oh, like where's my elbow? Like, oh, my hand's just like dangling, or I don't know. Just like people would be a little more worried about knocking that region. So you know that he was covered up there.
Yeah.
I didn't know Joey Natasha had a podcast. Yeah, I
And
always
Tasha.
see it like on Tasha, correct. But like I've never listened to it because they're not my favorite people.
It's one of those official like Bachelor Nation podcasts. And there's like Bachelor Happy Hour, which at this point is Becca Kufrin, and I don't know. Tasha's been there. Like it was Rachel Lindsay. Obviously, Rachel was like, "I'm not doing this anymore." So then from that point forward, they had some different people on, like Catherine Giudice was on there. They had Tasha on there. I don't know who's on it now because I haven't listened in a minute, but that's one. And then the other one is Clickbait, which is Natasha, Joe, and Tasha. That's like the
wasn't Hannah Sluice part of that at one point?
She was initially part of that, but then that's like one of the great Bachelor Nation mysteries is why Hannah Ann was no longer doing Clickbait anymore.
Ooh, that's clickbait. I want to know what happened there. Yeah, I tend to not end up watching like official podcasts for franchises because it's kind of watered down and boring. And usually any of the good information comes like somebody's watched it and I can watch like an interesting podcast about it. So yeah, I don't tend to watch those.
Natasha's good on it. Like she has like she's very well spoken and like I usually enjoy her takes. I listen to her on Juliet Littman's podcast as well, Bachelor Party, and she's a good guest. So it's worth listening to for her as well. Tasha is for me like hit or miss on podcasts, but I just feel like Bachelor Nation proper has been like putting Tasha everywhere. So maybe it's just like too much exposure at this point, but and then Joe is like the other perspective, which some people like. I don't know. Like I said, he's not for me.
It's not for you. So Joseph said that it's crazy. It's 2 episodes a week. They are burning the season to get to Michelle's season. LOL. Yeah, I mean, it's usually only a month, and it's always, I believe, been 2 episodes a week. I'm okay with it. I just don't know when we should podcast about it. That's the only problem with it being twice a week.
Because your Wednesdays are booked up.
Unless it's earlier. I don't know what your actual work schedule is like. Unless we do it like in the afternoon, which is fine. Or like even like a 6 Or 7? We could even do a 7.
You have to figure out what my schedule is, but
we'll figure it out. Or even if we did like early, I don't know what if you do like a 12 to 9, we did like a 10, like that could work too.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
figure it out.
what would work, but that's the only problem with these 2 episodes a week is that it's hard to figure out when to podcast for them. I like the Monday was perfect. Either do it Monday after the episode or Tuesday if we're free. But this is a little wrench. Okay, so this season feels weird. It's okay. It's okay, Joseph. Just enjoy it for it being just a mess of people that are on the show, like trying to find love. And some people probably will. And, this is just their journey. I find it definitely more entertaining than all of Katie's season so far. So. Okay, so who would we like to have seen on Paradise?
I mean, speaking of her, just recently, I feel like it's a miss not having Hannah Ann there. I really want that level of chaos brought to the game. I'm also surprised from Peter's Girls that Victoria Fuller is not there. Again, from a drama perspective.
Didn't she?
Yes, I think both of them probably didn't want to go on, but I was expecting both of their energies on a Bachelor in Paradise season. So I think that would have been really interesting to see them there. Another person that I want to see there, but I know is coming based on the previews, is Chelsea. So she will be there. She's just not there right now.
Who's Chelsea again? Oh, Shaved Head.
Chelsea from that season, yeah.
She's gorgeous. I'm interested to see. But is she going to have somebody there? Like, is she going to have to pair up with? Like, I want to see who is interested in her. I hope they give some options to her.
Depends when she comes in for sure.
Right. So Sabrina and P and Joe have an interaction. It was awkward. I think Conor B enters next. Do you think Conor B suits Paradise?
Sorry, wait. You're not just going to skip over the comment that Joe said about Toronto is very ugly from the outside?
I did. I wrote down awkward. It was probably to trigger me for that moment, but I didn't get triggered. I didn't remember. Yeah, go on. Take it.
He literally said Toronto is very ugly from the outside, but very beautiful in. Not like you. You're very beautiful on the outside, and I don't know yet what's on the inside. This Toronto slander, excuse me? Like, I know it's not like, made out of gold, but it's not ugly. I'm sorry that you have really nice architecture, but we've got like some good stuff going on here. It's not hideous. I was very offended by this comment.
Well, maybe it was kind of a joke and it just didn't land at all. But I just was kind of like, where is grocery store Joe from? Is he from
The audacity.
Chicago?
He's from Chicago.
Chicago's pretty I don't know. I've never been, so I can't fully judge. But it seems like a city. It doesn't seem like it's particularly amazing.
Chicago has a very, very strong architectural identity, and it's like a big part of city planning there is that there's a lot of context to what gets built, and it's like a big part of their skyline, and it's very important. So there is a lot of really cool stuff happening architecturally there. But at the same time, it is like one of the more similar to Toronto US cities.
That's
so
what
I was just like, how dare you? Honestly.
If you're from New York, I can understand people from New York are just they think that they're amazing. But the fact that you're from Chicago, it's nice. But for you to have such an opinion.
We've got a beach. We've got parks. There's culture. Excuse me? How dare you? Your architecture is better. I'll give you that. But I will not say that Toronto is very ugly from the outside. No.
Yeah, I definitely wrote down awkward, but I forgot about the combo. So thank you for stepping in there, Tanya. When I just want to jump over to Conor B. So how do you like him being on Paradise?
No thanks. I'll give Conor credit. He's probably the best musician they've had on the show. In terms of actual guitar playing, for real, he can actually play the guitar and he's pretty good at it. And his songwriting is better than Jed. And James Taylor is like the bottom, like way, way, way below, like not even important person. So I'll give him that. I don't want to hear the songs anymore, personally. This isn't what I tune in for. It's cringy. I don't need it. But thank you for reliving the cat moments, the Katie kisses, the songs. I don't think we needed this. And him coming out of the pool and flipping his hair was also ridiculous.
I sent you the photo, but so you obviously you watch Big Brother, and in Kylan's like head of household photos was that photo that I sent you. So the girl Tara that came out of the audience to kiss Conor on the men tell all is like the friend that sent the letter for the head of household package for this week's head of household. And we're just and like it's a picture of them like together and like riding horses or whatever. Like there's a bunch of different pictures of them together. We're just like, how do they know each other? What?
Tara, she's connected. She's connected.
She sent the head of household letter. Anyways, it was just very surprising to me for sure. So Joe has a conversation with Serena, as we were talking about already, and he does feel as though it was like talking to Kendall. Do you see any similarities between Serena and Kendall? Tolerance of him?
Being interested in him? I guess they kind of sort of do have slightly similar energies. Like they're both like bubbly and like really easy to talk to, it seems like. They both carry the conversation with him, which he seems to need, somebody that kind of like boosts his confidence in that way. So I don't think that they're dissimilar, but I don't think that they're the same or anything like that. Yeah, I'm so confused why she was so invested in getting to know him. I feel like she really had this idea of Joe for some reason, but I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they're pregame. Maybe that's what it all is about. So Victoria enters and she says that she's changed her name from Queen to Goddess. Another joke that landed, I think, with this one, with me anyways, was like, oh, I didn't get CC'd on that. I laughed.
That was the best one, yeah. I wrote that one down. I actually did laugh when he said that.
Yeah, it was funny. So it is Goddess now. Are you going to call her Goddess Victoria? No. Perfect.
I'm praying that she's out quickly so that we don't have to endure this anymore.
Well, not gonna lie though, she seemed to really be quite tame. I think she was a little bit out of her element here. She kind of didn't have that much camera time. It wasn't all about her as she was able to pull focus before on Matt's season. So I wonder if she just doesn't even know how to interact here, because like who's she gonna date? Karl?
Yeah. She must have gotten the picture that I don't think so.
I really wasn't sure though when Deandra, Marissa, when they came in, and I couldn't tell who the blonde was, but now I realized it was Victoria P. I didn't see when they all came in, so I don't know if I was like sidetracked and I didn't actually see it, or if I don't think they did a full entrance, but did they?
No, because they didn't have like a moment with David Spade, but it was like Connor's thing, then Deandra, then that conversation with Joe saying that talking to Serena was like talking to Kendall, then Victoria, then Wells and David Spade fill each other in on what's happening, and then Marissa comes in. So they kind of like intersperse people in within that mix, leading up to Mari then coming in.
I definitely like that bit. Wells giving an update to David. Was that the same time where he's like, "Oh, I should be at the front. Like, I'm gonna get in trouble."
Yeah, he's like, I'm missing everybody's entrance. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Mari comes in. She has her eye on Kenny. Kenny comes in, has his eye on who? Mari, I guess. I put Kenny, but it must have been Mari.
He said she was the hottest girl on Matt's season.
Definitely she was, I thought. I mean, one of, but I was
sure.
very surprised to let her go so early because I was like, she's very, very pretty, man. I feel like she's out of your league. So why are you getting rid of her?
Yeah. Well, as we know, Matt doesn't get it. So
Mari and Kenny have a little conversation. We'll probably talk more about them later. She talks about how she likes older guys. It's only a 15-year age gap, so not the worst. Tajwan is back. Were you excited to see her?
Yes, actually, her package at the beginning was my favorite because I feel like that's how I would be if I was there. Is just like hating the like excessive heat, sweating so much. It was like a shot of her like eating spaghetti, and then like a shot of her just like crying because there's bugs everywhere. And I was like, I can relate. I actually really think that she's so funny. I was happy to see her again.
I think I liked her more this time around than the last time.
She looked awesome too.
Agreed. And so she meets up with Trey. So Trey is introduced as well. I think it was already on there. And he wants to meet Tajwan, but little do we know that Tajwan dated his uncle and they have kissed. And so she does relay this information to Trey. How old is Tajwan?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering because we know Trey is 26. I feel like she comes across as much older than him personally, like 30.
She's
so 25. I thought that was funny. 25. Oh, really? She seems older. Okay, that's cool then. Then they're an okay in age range. James comes in. Were you excited to see James?
No, I literally wrote, who cares?
Who cares? I didn't write down anything, so other than his name.
But it brought us that bromance scene, which was kind of funny, of them just being like, you look great. You look great. We have the same shorts. I have the shorts too.
And then your guy starts narrating the season. Mr. Aaron starts laying some sound bits down. Did you start writing here?
Of course I did. I also wanted to say I finally got an answer. Remember how we were trying to figure out what his background was? He's Indo-Trinidadian on his mom's side. So that explains that like Southeast Asian, what we thought, like looking at that photo. But as like diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago on his mom's side. So now we know.
I love Caribbean. Yes.
Yeah. And then he gave me just such an excellent moment here. He's just so silly. Like I honestly I'm such an Aaron fan at this point because he's so ridiculous. And then his like little giggle and smile just entertains me so much because he thinks he's saying something so good every time. And it's usually something so basic. So this is what he said. Paradise is amazing. Things are really shaping up, more than I could have hoped for, kind of on the first day. But Mount Vesuvius went still for a day before it exploded. It's bound to blow up too. I think that douchebags are shortly on their way.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanya. I only wrote down that Aaron knows that douchebags are on their way, but I am much appreciative of you writing down his entire excerpt. So thank you.
I don't know why I'm so obsessed with him, but he's just so ridiculous to me. I love
that you're obsessed with him. It's perfect. Like,
he's my Thomas.
Oh wait, so BB is asking what happened to Conor B and Tara from the audience. No, so BB. So Tara from the audience was the girl in Kylan's pictures on Big Brother for his head of household. Let me show you quickly if I can pull this up now. It was just so shocking because like we're just like, how is it you? Like, hold on. So one of his head of household pictures. I know I sent it to you, so.
I just can't deal with him.
See, BB?
Tara.
What's Tara doing? Like, was she almost like, I don't know, maybe she's just in LA reality TV, just in that matrix.
She was trying to make it as a singer, songwriter.
Oh, wait,
And she
Natalie thinks that Aaron's smile is sexy. Okay. Are we
it's
all starting
endearing.
to vibe with Aaron? Tamika
He's a
can't
messy
stand
bitch.
Aaron.
But you have to admit that he is hot though. Like
It's
if he
super
walked onto the beach, you would be like, oh, this guy's attractive. Like he's fit, he's got a good smile, he's ridiculous, but that's kind of what I like about him. I guess like maybe I can understand the double standard of like riding for Aaron when he clearly started drama with every man on his season. But at the same time, most of those people were messy and needed to be called out. So I'm an Aaron apologist at this point.
For Aaron, I just feel that he just is, I guess it's because I'm so much older than him, but he just seems too young for me. It seems like last year he looked like a teenager. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't lived in an
Yeah,
adult's body for long enough. And so I just can't personally take him seriously because he looks like he could be my child. You know what I mean? So
I just want to drink wine and like talk shit about people with him.
I mean, I could probably do that. Oh, wait. So what happened? Was there a relationship after their kiss? I don't think anything.
Nothing.
She was hired.
She got paid for that appearance. And then she said, I'll get the followers. And that's that. I actually don't know, though. I'm assuming they did not engage after that.
Probably not. Tamika's probably more of a Trey girl. Okay, Trey's cute. Trey's also a Capricorn, so that works with you. Because Tamika,
I think Trey's a Taurus, isn't he?
I think he's a Capricorn.
Well,
I'm like 90%, but Tamika's a Taurus, though.
Good. All great people are.
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding. Can't wait for reactions when Chantel's man Tommy fights Tanya's man Aaron.
And also Aaron apparently gets into a fight with Ivan and calls him a fake ass bitch. I can't wait to see that play out.
Who gets in a fight with Ivan? Ivan's like such a sweet soul. Maybe it's too much of that confidence energy that he's bringing.
I'm excited for the Thomas and Aaron fight just because it's going to be a continuation of Katie's season, and also like neither of them are good at arguing, so it's got to be so ridiculous. I'm excited.
So you must have been excited that Aaron was a prophet here, because as soon as he says the douchebags are on the way, K-Swiss enters the beach. Were you excited to see K-Swiss?
Absolutely not. Like, I honestly don't think they should have even bothered.
Well, he was pretty rude. He was like, hi, like as if he's some sort of celebrity or whatever. And like Taj Juan was like kind of saying hi to him, and then he kind of turns to hug somebody else like he's really famous, which he's not.
Yeah, he's like, oh, like walking down, like everyone was like, wait, like, no, dude. No.
And like, I'm wondering if he was wearing K-Swiss shoes.
K-Swiss.
Like, you know that brand, right? It's called K-Swiss, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was so worried about people stepping on his shoes. Why aren't you wearing like shoes that are made to be worn in sand? I'm always curious when people are like, you're at the beach, but you're wearing like running shoes, like, and you're gonna be at the beach for a while. It's not like you're just passing through for a second. Anyways, weird. So David and Wells are explaining the rules to Paradise to the people. I agree. I do like those two together. They said that there's going to be 10 guys that are going to be there and 13 girls. Therefore, 3 women will be going home. So just to blow through what kind of goes on. So we know that Aaron likes Tammy, which I definitely think is an interesting pairing. I wouldn't think that Tammy would be liking Aaron, but okay. It's very interesting. I was like unexpected. Brendan, does Brendan like Natasha? Does Natasha like Brendan?
He said that he had like the best conversation with Natasha.
I mean, I would like them together too. She's quite pretty. They would look good together. Obviously, Trey and Taj Juan have a few more interactions, and even though she's dated his uncle. His uncle might have just been like 40 though.
I know his uncle. Like, I feel like that could be a lot of things. She said
Well,
she
like,
went on a date. She said she went on a date with his uncle. So I'm wondering if it was literally just a date as well.
But didn't she say also that his uncle introduced her to Trey?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I thought that that's what was concluded. Like that's why she knew Trey a little bit already, because her uncle introduced her to him.
Honestly,
Maybe it
I'm
was
not
like
shocked.
Maybe it was like an online virtual meeting or something. Be like, oh, like you're part of the Bachelor franchise, so is my my nephew.
Maybe it was that like a gathering of some. I mean, after watching Real Housewives, where there's an actual storyline of someone who's married to their step grandfather, nothing could really shake me when it comes to dating someone's family. So this is tame. This is tame for me. Uncle seems like actually safe territory.
Yeah, BB heard that too. His uncle introduced them. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. Cassandra, Karl was so cringe. He was so cringe. I'm just like, and he's gonna have a rose that he's giving out. Like, who's Karl giving his rose to? Like, actually. It
hurts my heart that someone's gonna have to entertain that for a week to stay. Like, oh my God, like painful stuff.
So Natasha and Kenny are having a conversation, and Mari is jealous. I'm like, whoa, is Mari going to be the jealous girl over Kenny? We know it's going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to be so soon. Tajwan also likes Brendan, but Abigail gets a date card, and she decides to choose Noah. Take it away, Tanya. Tell me about this date, because I didn't write down anything about it.
I'm opening this up to the chat as well. Do you feel like it's good or not good, the way that he was approaching his conversation with her? Because I'm feeling like he was trying to tell her a lot about herself. And the reason why I'm conflicted about this is because it seems like she had a positive response to this. So I think that she actually like does like him and was interested and did feel kind of seen by these comments. But I'm generally kind of off-put by this man just telling me things about me.
Yeah,
like him being like, you are this way, and I know people don't say this enough to you. And I'm like, how do you know that? How do you actually know that? But then she seemed to actually get like a bit emotional when he was able to articulate that to her. So I don't want to take that away from her if that was like something that resonated. I just personally like didn't really enjoy the energy he was bringing, and it feels like that's tied into even how he walked in being like, yeah, I'm interested in her, and like I work with and have worked with a lot of people in the deaf community and blah blah blah. I'm just like, it feels very like you're telling me something about myself, you're telling me something about my experience in my life. Like it just felt weird to me. I didn't like it.
Yeah, Persephone is agreeing with you, saying it felt like a forced teaching moment. What exactly did he say again? I remember feeling off-put by just like, who the F are you? We're on a date. We're supposed to be getting to know each other. Don't tell me how to act and how you like me acting. Like I would have been much more like
he was just like
reaction.
The first thing that was weird is that she was like, I need to move slow, and like that's how I am, and it takes me a while to like open up. And then he was like, I don't know if I could do that. And she was like, are you saying that that's going to be a problem? And he was like, I just don't know like how I can see myself doing that. And then after he went into this bit about being like, people must tell you that you're like so nice and like so sweet and like all the time, but like there's more to you, isn't there? Like it's just like it was very like, ugh. I don't know.
I remember not enjoying it and thinking like, how are they going to be kissing after this? Because I'm like, I'd be like, okay, so we don't get along. Thanks for the date, but that's the only one that's going to be. Oh, interesting.
But she seemed into it.
That he is fetishizing her. Go on, Tamika. I want to hear more about this.
It's one of those things where it's like, guys, some guys I think now like understand that it's not enough to just be like at a base level hitting on a woman. So there's something like not sinister, but like they're like in on the thing of like what they think we want them to say. And I feel like that's what he was doing. Like he was saying everything that he thought she wanted to hear. And again, I don't want to take away from the fact that maybe that resonated with her, but like to me, it's just like you're trying to be one of those guys who's like above the conversation that's normally happening. You're trying to like be so in my corner, and it still felt performative or like kind of contrived to me. Maybe I'm just reading him wrong, but that was the vibe that I got from it.
I just remember being like, this is not a great date. That's what I was thinking the whole thing. I wasn't engaged in it. But I just remember thinking like, I was off by how he was talking to her. I'd be like, I wouldn't have been attracted to him in that moment. So Cassandra says Noah and Abigail remind her of Liberty and Jake in the sense that the guy was forcing his genuine feelings towards her. I can see that for sure, Cassandra. It's kind of, yeah, I haven't completely formulated exactly what I think yet, but I think if they're going to continue, I'll be able to piece together like how I feel he actually feels about her and their relationship. It does seem a little bit that he's more the aggressor and she's a little more submissive. Did you watch Love Island this season?
I did up until like maybe a few weeks ago. So I fell off. So
I'm wondering if it might be a little bit more of a Kira Will situation.
Maybe. I could see that. Let's
put a pin in it. Let's keep coming back to this one. Yes, Noah should respect her however she wants to move. Like, just be on that ride with her. Like, don't tell her how to act. Like, that's just so offensive, I find. Noah said he wanted to tear her walls down. Like, what the F? It's the first date. She's not a sad puppy. Like, who do you think you are? Absolutely, Cassandra. Tear your walls down. Like, yeah, shut up. Shut up. Like, oh, because you're so open and so vulnerable. You want to tear her walls down? Like, shut up. Noah was telling her what she thought she wanted to hear. Yes, to give her, get her to his pace. Okay, but like, I wasn't here for it.
That's what it felt like.
I also thought Abigail's like, I move slow was simply code for dude, I'm not that into you. And dude, I don't know you yet.
Or like, let me figure out if I'm into you. Like, it's totally natural for someone to need time. And then also you're dating on TV, which is already so awkward. And I'm sure she's had plenty of experiences with guys where it's put her off of that kind of stuff. So if she's so guarded, there's probably a reason for it. And to try and like engage someone in bringing their walls down in this context, like, yeah, I get that it's a show and it appears that this is going to be something that seems to be working for both of them, at least coming out of this date. So it's just like, chill out, take it easy. There's no need to rush. It's fine. Like, if that's what she needs, then if you really care about her, then that's what you would do. You would go along with that.
You don't tell her how she needs to act with you when you just met. Cassandra's Noah just came up with fake to me. Like he was playing a game trying to get the sweet, nice girl he knows Bachelor Nation loves.
He knew that wrong. Yes, this moment, yes. He was like, you shouldn't be surprised.
Oh,
he's like, oh, you shouldn't be surprised. You deserve better. Like, or you deserve this all the time when a guy pulls out his chair. It's like, why do you think she's surprised by this behavior? Because the bar is in hell. Like, don't tell us how we should feel about you pulling out a chair, bro. Like, I'm not into it. I don't like that. I don't like it.
He's so focused on her deafness and her personality and what makes her appealing. Yeah, I haven't fully figured it out, but I want to give him.
I want to give him space, like as much as I'm like shitting on him right now. I do want to give space and like empathy for the fact that he has an understanding of that based on his work, but I agree that it's like presenting that information in that way does feel like it's like fetishizing or
or like he wants to help her,
like
date
save
him.
her,
Like, why are
help
you
her. Yeah,
like why are you trying to help her date you?
like
Like,
she's fine. She's good.
she should be able to be however she wants to be, and if you guys connect, like she shouldn't have to change for you, weirdo. Like, especially since you're saying that you're so understanding about the deaf community, and like, so like, are you not, like, because she's being however she wants to be, why are you telling her how she should react to things? Like,
and if you were understanding of the deaf community, you would not like then approach someone in that community and talk about their experience as a deaf person. You would just like experience time with them and treat them like a person. Like,
yeah, it's like,
oh,
like, I know you're deaf and I understand like your struggles that you came from, but I'm here to break down your walls. Like, I'm sorry.
Which,
like,
on the date, it was more about like her shyness or like her timidness and her sweetness, and that there's more to her than that. But like, still,
not down. Okay, Persephone hasn't watched the last few seasons of The Bachelorette, nor The Bachelor, and this whole episode felt way more performative to me than in the past. You haven't watched the last couple seasons, so this is, I think, not as performative as some of the things that were going on, at least this last year stuff. So go back and take a look. You might change that perspective. I mean, they're all performative. Let's keep it real. It's just not this obvious.
I agree.
Okay, and Abigail had specifically said that she's tried dating people, just defining her. Tired of people just defining her by her deafness and thinking that she's just a sweet, nice girl because she is more than that. She is. Noah talked about working with hearing impaired people in the past, which made him fantasize about her. It's actually very kind of weird. Loved it when Tanya said, I can't read it. What it says, dude, bro, done. Oh, don't tell me how to feel, bro. I was like, bro. I was like, where's the bro? Yes, I did love when you said that because it's true. Don't tell me how to feel, bro. Oh, so let's just blow through the rest of this episode. I don't know if they come back. I can't remember. Victoria smile. Oh, she's in her confessional, talks about herself making eye contact and smiling for 5 seconds. And then that person's going to come over and talk to them, which is true. Like, smiling and giving eye contact for a long period of time is usually an opening for somebody to feel like they can step into your area and interact with you. It's true. But I just don't know if it's going to work with Victoria. She's not likable for whatever reason.
And that only works if there's someone looking at you. Like, that doesn't really take when no one's doing anything. There's a few girls that seem to be in that space, because Kelsey was also like, I think it was, I don't even remember. But I feel like it was the day after that first night. She was like, today I'm going to try and like talk to people. It's like, oh, it may be too late, Queen. Like, I don't know if it's enough now. And especially with Demi's arrival.
Well, it's kind of like, what else did you have to do?
I know.
Like, you're only there to talk to people. Like, talk to people. Very strange.
I think Kelsey would have benefited from this show happening last year. I feel like the gap of time for Kelsey is a Final Four contestant, and who'd you master? And I think she would have fared better on the first day if she was coming out of Peter's season more. I feel like it's been too much time, and like people just don't care, and she wasn't putting herself out there enough.
I didn't care, and they didn't care. BB thinks that the guys seemed intimidated by Kelsey. I don't know. I think they just didn't know who she was, and then she wasn't really interacting with them. So I think they're just like, who's that girl?
Seems like for once, like the coveted women are not just, blonde white women, which is kind of a good shift, I think, for the show.
Definitely. So how'd you feel about Conor B taking Marissa out to look at the stars and an intense makeout? They both didn't think that they were going to kiss on the first day, and they just decide to kiss.
Marissa's way out of his league, and our girl's trying to stay another week. So I do not fault her for doing what she did. And unfortunately, it came at the expense of having to talk about how Conor's not a bad kisser. But she's doing what she needs to do. She's doing what she needs to do. I don't see that coupling going anywhere at all.
No, well, especially with the previews for the season. This is the thing. I say it pretty much every podcast. My teacher said, if the kiss ain't great, legs don't separate. That also means if the kiss ain't great, there's no second date usually, you know? So they might be on Paradise together and they might canoodle, but we see her making out with Riley. And she wouldn't be making out with Riley if your kiss was good, Conor. It's just like she would be addicted to your kiss, wanting more of that kiss, and she's not feeling it. So
I'm excited for Riley. Oh.
Me too. All the people that aren't there yet, I'm very much excited for. Obviously, my boy Thomas, Riley, who else? And I love that they get to come with a date. So I like that they're going to, no matter what, choose somebody to go on a date. That's my favorite part about them introducing new people. Because usually I'm like, oh, it sucks for the new people coming in because like they don't have the best advantage, but they get their pick of the litter. They get to see who they vibe with or are curious about. So I like that. So I'm excited for the future seasons or episodes. So Taj talks to Trey, and there's a bug in her hair, and she's so dramatic. And like I was like, it's here. Is there a bug? Is there?
That's what I would do. That's what I would do. It would freak me out.
Hilarious. So he does find some sort of bug, and he's her savior in this moment. And they kiss, and she says it's a good kiss, 10 out of 10.
Better than his uncle, apparently.
Better than his uncle. So that's something. Oh, I did write down the Noah shit. I did. Okay. Noah wants to break down her walls.
For it. Like, wow.
Yeah. That's get out of here. Sorry. And then there was the montage of everybody thinking that their kiss was the first kiss. I didn't know that was a trope. Was that a new trope this season? Like
I don't know either.
Okay.
I guess they must be aware of it because it's just like happening. But I didn't know that was a thing.
Not at all. It's like I don't mind it being a thing, but then I want to see who wins that. Like, do they get a super date or something like that for being the first kiss on Paradise? I don't know. I want to see something come out of that discovery. Mm-hmm. So BB also says that the women should have handed out roses first. Obviously, like some great women are going to be leaving on the first night because there's duds in there. Like K-Swiss gets to stick around, but like probably Chelsea is going to be going home. Not that I care that much about Chelsea, but like I would like to see what she brings to the table more.
Yeah.
Kelsey kind of looked kind of disheveled. I wanted to brush her extensions. She was probably trying to do like the beachy bedhead look, you know. Marissa's doing what she has to do, poor thing. Yeah, she knows what it's like to leave first episode. So she's like, that's not happening. I am finding someone to give me a rose and we're working from there.
Exactly.
She does.
She knows better options are coming too. I feel like
she's gonna be
she
fine.
just gotta make it past this stupid rose ceremony. If that means you have to kiss Conor, you have to do it. And then we know that Riley's gonna come, so I'm feeling optimistic for Marissa, and she deserves better.
Sophie, we're only an hour and a half. This is short. We're almost done too, which is
this is impressive. Like a tight podcast for us. This is not even 2 hours yet,
right? We're never gonna know. It's always gonna be about an hour and a half. That's what my goal will be. Tejuan is a BIP legend. Can't wait to see what she does. Me too. She's fine.
I agree.
What every person is waiting to hear is you are a better kisser than your aunt or uncle. I'll laugh my ass off. I mean, that was a great moment though. It's hilarious.
It's better than you remind me of my mom. So
remind me of my mom. Better than having to get someone in the audience at Men Tell All to tell you that you're a good kisser. So I'd rather that. I'd rather that. So there was then the montage as I mentioned of all the people kissing. So the kissing people are Abigail and Noah, Mari and Kenny, Tejuan and Trey, Aaron and Tammy, Conor and Marissa. Did I get anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Those are all the kisses.
Well, I don't think it was in the montage, but Serena and Joe also kissed.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming. Because Joe wants to leave.
True.
Right? He's just like walking by himself by the ocean. It's a little tiresome. I'm just like, just get into it or go home. Like, I don't know, like your 35-year-old mopey energy. Like, people are like, oh, age is just a number. Like, or if you act like a mopey person, like, we know that you're not fun. Like, get out of here. So I was like annoyed that he's just like, you know, moping around by the ocean. So, but Serena, though, says that she gets fiesta flutters, which is kind of like, I'm assuming, fanny flutters in the UK. So she gets turned on by him. She likes him. She kisses Joe. Well, she goes and grabs him, brings him over. They have like a giggly, flirty moment on like the day bed. And it was a good kiss. And then all of a sudden, Joe is happy that he's here in his confessional.
Yeah, now he's good. He's so lucky she's even interested. Like, I'm also, he's 35 and she's 23. And like, yes, age is nothing but a number. But I just find it hard to believe that this is really gonna work out. Like,
what's that age formula that like how young you can go as a man? I think it was on Big Bang Theory. Is that what it's called? Or no, How I Met Your Mother.
He doesn't even like Toronto. He doesn't even like Toronto. Okay, well, like there's so many bad things happening here.
Because like he's 35 or 36.
He's 35.
So isn't it divided by 2 and add 5, or is it add 7 is the lowest that you can go when you're dating like an older man to younger woman? I can't remember what the equation is. It's from, I think it's from How I Met Your Mother. Can anybody help me with this in the chat?
It's like, whatever. Like, I don't think that there's like anything wrong with that age gap, like on paper. I just don't see how their lives are gonna align in any way.
But
if this were to
their lives could be like what I believe she was a publicist in Toronto. She can do that anywhere. I think she's gonna ride Bachelor Nation fandom. I think that if they're just going to be a Bachelor Nation couple, I don't think age matters at all. It's not like he's going to have some event where it's going to be all people that are way older than her that she's going to feel out of place at or anything like that. So I think that because they're in the same world, I think that the age gap shrinkens a little bit. But maybe if it comes to terms of like maybe if he ever wants to get married or have children, she might not be where he is in his stage of life for wanting that potentially. But I think for everything else, for dating, I think that they're okay, age-wise.
Yeah.
23 and 35 is just a weird age gap. She's just got out of college and he's 5 years from 40. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even come close to dating someone 5 years younger than me. So, like, I would date older, though. Now I wouldn't date older, however many years they are. When she's 23, 12 years older than me, that they'd be way too old for me for now, but like maybe a decade max older, but now they'd be too old for me. Serena wants a green card. That's something.
To live there?
Well, just to be able to live and work in the States.
Miss Delta is out and about over there. We're not trying to go there right now.
This whole storyline has to be production plant, though, right? I mean, I hope Serena's in this too from the start. She could be. I
think she's savvy. I think she's savvy enough to understand what the lay of the land is. And I think they both are probably in good with production. So there's probably a connection there of some kind, but I think they also know that it keeps them both in the conversation and keeps the stock up. And I'm not sure what kind of communication they may or may not have had beforehand, but like it does fully seem like she's interested in him. So it is what it is. He's clearly a figure that's going to be on the show for a while. So is she, especially if they're together. Whether that's an edit for potential future Bachelor or if they end up together or anything in between, I have no idea. But I just think they're both aware that it benefits them to have each other in this process.
Yeah, just to fall back on if nobody else comes, at least we got each other here.
Yeah.
Persephone says, and what's up with the Toronto is the ugly comment. Best city in the world. That's where we are, Persephone. Did we already talk to you before and ask you where are you in Toronto as well? Which part of the city are you in? We are downtown,
the shade,
girls.
The shade of it all.
The shade of it all. Okay, so what else happened in the last bit of this episode?
Demi.
Oh, right. Demi arrives. Poor girls. I'm going to steal all their men. Demi. Are you
Question for the group. Did anyone care to see her again? Like, I don't know how I really feel about Demi. Like, I'm not really a fan, but I'm not like, I don't hate her. I just think that ship has sailed. Like, did we really need her to come back? And especially it seems like just with the intention of stirring shit up, we're getting into this love triangle based on the previews between Kenny and Mari and her, which may or may not end up with Mari throwing a cake into a fire.
It's Kenny's birthday cake, apparently.
Like, did anyone want to see Demi back? Like, I don't know. I could have done without her being there. I would have rather
if she was still like with her other storyline, you know, like having a little bit more diversity in sexual preferences, you know. So I was interested in that storyline of hers where she was open to having a same-sex relationship on Paradise. It's like, that's new, that's interesting. Like I want to see this angle. So I maybe would have rathered if there was a woman that she was interested in coming to. I don't know, but the other woman would also have to be.
I wish the show would explore like bisexuality or pansexuality more, for sure, because I think not only is that, you know, representing people in a different way, but I think it also just changes up the idea of the game if there's people that are actually open to dating the same sex or otherwise. But I don't know that we're there yet in a show where people are still upset that Chris Harrison is not there. So all in due time. But yeah.
Persephone says, me too. Well, I just moved from the T-Dot after 15 years. I was all over West Side, East Side. I flipped houses and worked for the ROM. Riverdale has my heart, though. Amazing. Yes, I grew up in Toronto, still live in Toronto. I've lived in Montreal and Vancouver as well, but I'm back here for now at least. But depending on what happens with this world, like maybe I need to go move to Spain. Like I don't know, like I you know, with what's going on in North America specifically, and the world obviously, but there's some places that I might be able to live a better life than here. So love Toronto though. Are you're born here, right, Tanya?
Born and raised, and in the East End as well. So I have a soft spot.
High school?
Eastern Collegiate.
Okay. I was in North York, so I went to Earl Hague. Just saying.
Okay.
Dance major. Boom. Okay, so we have Demi arriving. I do love Wells talking to David about all the gossip. Like that's a fun bit. I like him getting filled in. And then there was the one little part before in the morning before Demi arrives that Kelsey wants to be more social, and she's talking to Aaron and Trey. They're kind of both like, all right, well, be social then. Like, why are you so weird? Like, why is this so difficult? I mean, I know that Cassandra, you're saying that you don't enjoy this first episode. I really did. I thought it was light. I thought it was fun. I thought it was silly. We got a little bit of like, ooh, I didn't realize I didn't like Noah. It's cool. Oh, I knew I didn't like K-Swiss. That's cool too. Like you got your moments with your guy Aaron. I'm liking the dynamic between Wells and Dave. I give it a 7.5 out of 10 for an opening episode.
Yeah, I'm aligned with that. Yeah. I was entertained. It wasn't like explosive, but I'm glad it's back. I think the show really gets good in the middle weeks. So I'll give it an opportunity to heat up a bit more, but I'm glad to have it back at the end of the day. I think we really needed this palate cleanser, especially after what we all went through collectively. I think we needed something that wasn't taking itself too seriously, and that's what the show does for us. So I will take it.
Cassandra had nothing else to watch, so for that, it's fine.
The bar is
Yeah,
on the
what about
floor.
Below Deck? Below, no, it doesn't. I guess it's Below Deck's at 10 p.m. Anything is better than Katie and Matt's season. Exactly. So this is the palate cleanser that Tanya speaks of. We were thinking of doing a draft, obviously keeping anybody that we've drafted from Katie's season and moving it forward. I don't know what our topics should be. Have you thought about this at all? Do you want to put a pin in it and think about it for next week?
Yeah, I feel like we gotta figure it out.
Right,
I need to think about what the tropes are on Paradise versus the main show. It's been 2 years.
So long. So we may come with you with a draft. We definitely have our old people that we've already chosen already. So we could get points for them actually making it onto Paradise, because that's definitely a good pick if you pick somebody that's like going to be withstanding the in the franchise. So definitely we have some good people there. Yeah, let's figure it out. Since we don't know who goes home yet, we just kind of got an introduction to everybody. I would like to see if I can redeem myself here, because you just blew me out of the water by like more than doubling me in points and having the winner picked her first pick. Even though I would have picked him first because I thought he was the box guy.
I thought he was the box. And so you've got James for life. So
I did get
hope
James.
you're happy.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me, Tanya, and everybody here in the chat. Persephone also said, "Oh, I'm so old school Bachelor Nation, returning after years of not watching, and I'm still in the Wells is my favorite contestant of all time." No, Cam. He's not that great, but he's kind of annoying. But I like his version of himself in this one. I like him way more than I liked in the last 2 seasons of Bachelor in Paradise. Like I liked him the first time.
He almost like pioneered the Greg shy guy style in terms of his initial season, and also with a dash of grocery store Joe, like I'm so awkward energy. So I remember how endearing Wells was.
I liked
JoJo's
him
season.
then, but then he annoyed me. I think maybe it was his second season of Bachelor in Paradise. I can't remember what it was. I think it was when he started dating Sarah Hyland that like he got like a new pep in his step, that I was like, oh wait, I don't really like this version of you. But you know what, Persephone, I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you like Wells, love Wells. I definitely liked him more this season than I have in many years. So
he's definitely like enjoyable. Like he's not one of my faves, but I at least appreciate his self-awareness, and I do think that he is good at being this kind of like liaison between the cast and production in a way, or like the cast and the audience, and kind of like filling us in. His hosting experience and his radio experience really works for that, and he's good at like working with what is happening in the moment. So it's good for that reason, for sure. He's up for the role.
Yeah, Wells getting Sarah Hyland definitely gave him a big head. It's true.
I mean,
a little bit.
Are they married?
I don't think so. I think they're engaged.
Okay.
So we definitely can put some points on like if we think someone's going to get engaged or not. So that's definitely one trope. If they're going to get chosen for a date, maybe. Anyways, we'll workshop it. But Tanya, are you working on anything that people can follow you at? What's going on in your world right now?
You know, I started a new job that has nothing to do with this podcast, but that's what I'm working on, is just like getting my bearings in a new position. Outside of that, just recording with you.
Yay! My favorite thing. Well, like I said, everybody in the chat, you are much appreciated for your comments and just hanging out with us. Yeah, Tamika says engaged. Sure. It definitely makes this a lot of fun, especially because it's just such a silly show. It's not super serious. Like, I just enjoy talking about it because of the ridiculousness of it. So I'm happy to be doing this. We will be coming back twice a week. I don't think we should do one long one. I think breaking it up for me feels better. So I hope that works for you. So we're going to figure out when we're going to come, probably go live after the episode on Monday, and then figure out when to do the second day next week. So we will have to get back to you for that. I'll probably do a post in like the community so you can see what is going on. But you guys know the drill here. Subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's. And if you're watching this after the live premiere, please leave a comment and a like. So the comment could be, who would you love to see in Paradise? That's most likely not going to be on this season. Who are we missing? Who do we need to see here? And maybe which host do you think is going to be your favorite? And what did you think about Dave? Those are my thoughts. Definitely love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See you next week.
See you next